Yeah. This mic is off, right? We're not live, right?
No, we're not live.
Okay.
You can say anything you want about Daryl and his hair. Oh, hey, we're live.
Oh, hey.
Whoops.
Hey. Sorry about that. Didn't know that I was going to get set up like that, but I don't know how much got out there, but we'll leave it at that. There's no one on yet, I hope. And this recording only is watched by
we'll lose this recording, right?
Exactly.
That's great.
What's up, everybody? It is Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, it's already Monday.
Man,
it is
June 6th. As you guys get on, we'll do our typical every week. Where are you guys from? How's the weather out there? Hope you guys are doing well. Sophia's here. She says we're live, so be careful.
Julie and Danny, good to see you guys. That's awesome. Man, this is my second live for the day, so I'm gonna take a break for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
How did the first one go well? I didn't get to catch it.
I mean, Emily's a pro, so she just makes everything easy. It was great.
Right.
Yeah. Very informative, the curve talk. The curve talk.
In fact, I feel like I haven't left yet. I've still got all my curve stuff right in front of me from this morning. So, yep.
That was even when I first learned curve. It was always your videos that I learned from, and then I don't have a curve video. It's funny because today is module 4 of my course released this morning, and it's the curve module.
Nice.
So when you did your live, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
We planned it.
Mark.
we planned everything. This is
hey,
great.
Elizabeth, Michelle,
how are you?
Everyone, so far we have no Facebook users. I guess everyone's getting used to the whole sign in with StreamYard. Because I see everyone's name, which is a new thing for me. Usually 50% of the people.
I was signing my comments last week.
I remember that. That's right.
It wouldn't let me in.
That's great.
I never use my laptop. So I went on my laptop and it was like, oh, StreamYard doesn't like or Safari, and I don't have Chrome on my MacBook because I rarely use my MacBook.
Yep.
Well,
I'm over here just updating applications. It's fine.
Tina's there. Tina Hendricks is from Philadelphia, so we got another Philadelphia.
Nice. As you guys are coming on, let us know what your weather's like. We love doing that for some reason. So tell us where you're watching from and what the weather's like. So all of you guys who have really nice weather, we can be mad at you. Heather, what's it like where you're at?
It's hot.
What's
85,
hot?
90, but humid, hot and humid.
Gross.
Yeah.
Will, what's Sacramento like today?
It's hard to see. I'm at 87 right now.
Is it the same kind of heat? It's a different kind of heat out there.
Very dry.
Yeah.
Very dry. The
humidity. It's like swimming in the air. It's gross.
By the way, I see somebody asking, is there a way to watch other than Facebook? Yes. I'm also live on my YouTube channel right now. So maybe you can catch us there as well. That's great. All right.
We'll tell you what, in Arizona. Woo,
yes.
104.
I'm sweating just thinking about that.
Well, I take 104 and dry, then 90.
Yeah, then 90 and humid. Definitely.
Yeah. Jason's in Royce City, Texas. He says it's 92 and humid. Ugh. Yep.
Yeah. Natalie's in Tulsa. We got another friend from Tulsa.
Oh, I missed it. Where's my Tulsa friend?
Natalie Crawford said it was 82.
Yes, there you are, Natalie. Yes. Yep. Looks like the heat index right now is about 89 right now, which is still kind of gross.
Well, it seems like it's pretty warm in Atlanta.
Yeah, 11th layer of hell.
That sounds very appealing.
Oh, Wisconsin, misty, cloudy, and cool 70s. That's not bad.
I would take that.
Not bad at all. Yeah, Natalie, I know we had some big storms last night, but my friends at the office had to tell me about it because I slept through the entire thing. I had no idea anything was going on. Yeah, no idea. That's great. Well, we'll take about another minute or two at the most, and then we'll get started today because we want to make sure that we give you guys a lot of time to hear from our guests because it's going to be great. All right. Hey, Will, you want to just kind of tell everybody who we got here today, who we're talking with, and then we'll jump into some questions with Heather, and I'll let you introduce her.
I know a lot of you already know her, but for those who don't, that's Heather Lynn. She is the Procreate guru in my eyes from what I've seen, and she is who I use to learn a lot of the Procreate stuff that I'm trying to learn. She's going to be bringing a ton of information, a ton of just knowledge to this conference, and is going to help a lot of us with learning the basics of Procreate, learning some of the biggest things that we as users tend to want to know from Procreate. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to learn, pick her brain, get to know her. She's not just amazing at what she does with Procreate, but she's my friend. I adore her. I've looked up to her for years in the groups. We've built a great relationship, even though we've never met in person. So it's pretty amazing. Has an amazing group out there, Glow Create. You guys got to check that out. She's one of the mods for That Mom with a Laser. You're in a lot of groups, so I don't know if I can name all of them. But just a great resource to all of the members out here, answering questions, sharing her wealth of knowledge and time, answering questions for everybody. So we are blessed to have her here. We are even more blessed to have her come out to Sacramento and share that information with you guys. So we'd love to see all of you there.
And by the way, we've got all of her contact information in the post here. So if you need to get a hold of her or see her courses or see her Etsy, we're going to share that with you, but it's all there. You can grab it.
Yeah, it's a small list, just a small list of like 25 places you can find her. So
I don't know what you wanted, so you got it all.
No, it's perfect.
We love it. We love it. The more access we have to where we can find you, the better.
Yeah.
So that's Heather, in a nutshell. But we're going to talk to her a little. We're going to ask her some questions. You guys can ask some questions as well. We'll try to monitor those in the chat. We might not get to all of them live, but we will go back and answer them up. We have about 25 minutes to spend time with her, get an idea of what she's going to share, just a general sharing of what she might do at the conference, so you guys can see what you could get out of this. So.
And by the way, Heather, I'm seeing some questions that'll be great for you to help answer here in a little bit. So I'm going to kind of hold on to them, and I'll share them with you here as we go. So as we get started, why don't we just start by asking Heather, how did you get started with lasers? When was that? How did that go down? How'd you get here to today? Tell us your whole life story. You got about 45 seconds.
Ready, go. I bought a laser. So I have a graphic design degree from 2005. I went to LaSalle University. I never used my degree. I went right in. I was a bank teller for a while, and then I just kind of climbed the ranks at a local credit union. And I still work. I started working at one credit union in 2006. So what are we, 16 years in now? But that's what I did full time. And then in 2019, I saw a Facebook ad for the Glowforge, and I have no self-control. So I bought a $6,000 laser. I didn't know anything about it. And when I realized that I could use my knowledge of Adobe Illustrator and that the program hadn't changed much since 2005, I was like, well, I can do this. So I kind of married my crafting. Like, I was doing hand lettering for a while through college. Like, I've always had really nice writing. So I was able to, once I got my laser and realized that I could make my own designs, it was like a light bulb. Like, it was like, I can do this. Like, I don't have to buy them all the time. Like, I can make them myself.
Yeah.
And then here I am. So I've had a Glowforge from 2019 October until August of 2020. I had a lot of problems with my Glowforge, although I did love it. I'm still an affiliate of Glowforge. I wouldn't be where I am in the laser world without that machine. Excuse me. We all know you can't dive headfirst into a $12,000, $15,000 laser. So like for me, I didn't even know other lasers were out there. Because, they fancy it up and they show you the ads. And they're like, oh, look, it's a printer. And it just goes on your desk. And then I quickly, they don't tell you that you need like a whole room for your supplies and to vent it out the window and all that other stuff that, like, thankfully I did have space for. But yeah, I quickly outgrew it, and I was having issues with it. And it was right around the time that the mirror line was launching. So I hopped on the second shipment of the mirrors in 2020. And I got my Mirror 9 in September of 2020. And Beyonce's been with me ever since. Yeah. She hasn't given me any problems. I did have I guess 2 issues with my machine. And I think we all know Eon and their customer service is like night and day compared to Glowforge. I don't mean to bash it, but I love praising customer service when I can. And
absolutely,
stepping up to the mirror line was like, I got to learn how the machine works. And then I think all of us from back in the 2018, 2019, like group days, like there wasn't a lot of laser education out there. So when I started Procreate, for me, it was just like, let me take all of the things that I've figured out like on my own, and also add in the things that my friends have taught me or things that we've learned in the groups, and like put them in one central location that is specific to one topic. So that like we all love Gug, but it's like there's so much info in there. So like for me, it was like the design world. Like I would love for people to just be able to come in and see things about designs, people who make their own designs, not like, you know what I mean? Like the clip art and copyright stuff and all that jazz. So it started just as like a basic learning community. And then I built it from there. So now I have courses that I have out there for my members if they want to take them. My channel, I'm finally building on YouTube.
Yeah.
Keeping up with content creation is like a whole nother beast.
Well, hey, you know what? Let's just take that opportunity to tell people about Procreate. Let's just jump right in there. So I'm going to put this on the screen, and maybe you can talk us through it just a little bit. So give me just a moment to get coordinated here, because I've got a lot of things to put on the screen here. Will, why don't you follow up with another well thought out question that I'm sure would be great while I do that.
All right, let me throw you a softball question. Well, it doesn't have to be in the laser community, but who has been your biggest influence? Like who inspires you?
In the laser world?
Anywhere.
Or just like anyone?
Anywhere.
I don't know, because I have like a little niche of like, I like this person for this reason. But like in any world, my mom would be like my biggest inspiration, I think. Just her positive outlook. Like she has, I think you both might know, but like she takes care of my son for most of the day. She's our primary caretaker. So like she teaches my son, but she is also just like the most positive, like worry-free, like sunshiny light in the day. Like she just, I wish I could have like positive outlook and stuff like that she does. I admire that greatly because it carries well throughout every other part of her life.
Yay, moms. I love that. All right. So let's talk through this a little bit. So here's your website. Tell us what it's about. First of all, the address of it, how people can find it, and tell us a little bit about it.
So this is the paid side of Procreate. So what I did is I trademarked the Procreate name, and I wanted there to be a free learning platform as I have for the Facebook group. And then I wanted there to also be a central location where if somebody wants to take a course or a mini course, that there's somewhere that may go over all of the things that I have on my channel, or that I have as quick tips in the group, or that they could probably PM me and get if they really wanted to. Put it all in one place, make it easier for them to just be able to go in and knock it out and not have to worry about YouTube ads or scrolling or figuring out like what to call things. So this is procreatecourses.com. This mostly focuses on what I cover on my Adobe class. And then all the way at the bottom of the page, if you click on the link for the Procreate course, I released a mini course for Procreate that details pretty much anything that I could possibly include. It's no longer a mini course because I got carried away like I always do.
Right.
It's all the way down at the very bottom.
All the way at the very bottom.
Yeah, right there. This click here for details, that little button right below
here.
That'll take you to the Procreate page, and it'll kind of go over like there's a couple of videos on there of what I cover in the course, but I think that is probably going to be closer to what I'll be talking about at the conference.
That's great.
Yeah, my favorite. Procreate is my favorite.
So let me just
for most things. It's not for everything, but it is my favorite for most things.
So they can sign up for the wait list right here?
Correct. Yep, yeah, any of those links will take them to the wait list, and they'll be able to specify which course they're interested in. All my enrollment opens back up on June 28th. We're just in the middle of a semester right now, so I try and keep my focus on the students so I don't keep it open for too long. That way, if students want to get at me directly, I don't have a swarm in my inbox all at one time. So I keep it limited, and I just occasionally open it up to make sure that I'm not overwhelmed and that people can still learn at a good pace.
So let me just say this for everybody, because I'm sure I can say this with confidence. When you come to the conference, you're going to get a really qualified teacher to start teaching you about Procreate, and then you can continue to follow up with her through these courses like this. So that would be really great.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, is like Heather was saying, there's a lot of information out there, right? But having it all curated in one place, accessible, with other like-minded individuals who are going along the course with you, is powerful, right? It's you're getting it from a trusted source. It's in a way where it's a chronological, where you're building each step.
I would say that's key for me was the timeline, because like there's really no, when you get your machine, like there's really no like start here if you want to start designing, or start here if you want to start learning. Like, yeah, you can, what we all probably did, just Google and click around and learn that way, which I mean, we all did it well, but I would love to be able to save people that time that we all put into this stuff, and just say like, here,
absolutely,
don't scroll for days. Like just take this and run with it.
And it's foundational building, right? You're building this foundation, then you're stacking on top, and you're getting it in a way that it all makes sense, versus a little bit here. Do I trust this resource? I don't. They covered this, but they didn't tell me how to get to that point. Now
it's not for lasers. They're showing you something for vinyl, which doesn't always carry. And then you have our mentees that get a little bit confused because they don't understand like when things overlap, and then there's a negative space, like that kind of thing. There wasn't really much that was like, this is okay for lasers, or this would work great for lasers, like that kind of thing. So I think we all probably like want to make sure that it's not a struggle for me really much anymore, but I had a real struggle with going from the free group and then also offering a paid platform, and not wanting to limit the free info. Like, so I don't want anybody to ever think like, oh, I have to take her course for her to show me this. Like, that's just, my course is just out there for your comfortability. If you would rather go through this route, but like, that's not to say that you can't go through our groups, and you know what I mean, or talk to us all directly. Like, I'm messaging people just like we all are every day for free. We're still like, that's I got into this, and everybody helped me build my own business. So I love to be able to give back to the community that got me to where I am.
Absolutely. And let me say something on behalf of both of you that I feel like I can say. Everybody out there, we love answering questions. So please ask anything you want. Be a little patient, because we get a lot of messages every day. So sometimes we have to take a break, but we will get to you, I promise. Heather, what about this question here that Sharon asks? I have a question. I use CorelDRAW. How difficult is it to use another program such as Procreate? I don't know if that's an easy answer. It probably isn't, but what are your thoughts there?
It's definitely different. So I would probably compare CorelDRAW more to Adobe Illustrator, like on those lines, than I would Procreate, but it's not difficult to learn Procreate. It's a very basic user interface. If you know Corel, I have no doubt that you would be able to pick up the Procreate UI pretty easily. It's very simple. Just a handful of menus, but it has like so much functionality built in once you get comfortable with it.
Well, here's another good one. And in fact, I have this one. I can draw a little bit. I'm not great, but I'm okay. How does Procreate help someone with no ability to draw? Is it useful if you are not a good artist?
Yes. Depending on the project that you want to do, Procreate, you can do anything from going out front and taking a picture of a leaf and bringing it into your layers panel and actually redrawing it like you would like tracing your hand to paper. Just because sometimes I have issues when I'm drawing from like a perspective. So like seeing like a floral from the side, like I have a weird depth perception that sometimes I need to see it. So like I have a dogwood tree out front that I often photograph just from like different angles. And I use that for like the base of like shaping my florals. But even Procreate, if you don't want to draw, like you can letter. The brushes are built with, well, some of them, they have a streamline function, or you can turn it on that smooths your lettering out. It now has font functionality, so you can insert fonts, play with the layers, and insert colors. It's super fun, and you really don't have to know how to draw. I can't draw. I can letter. I can hand letter. I can draw like florals, but like if you ask me to draw like a portrait or something, no way.
Yeah, that's good. I'm probably going to have to take a course myself, because I looked at Procreate and I was like, and I closed it.
It looks like it's like foreign because there's not like a lot of words on the UI. So like, it's like you click on the wrench and then there's menus within there. So it is when you first dive in a lot, but then like once you run through it, like I have 2 tutorials on my channel that are just an intro to the app, walks the users right through like basically everything that they would need to start like playing with it.
That's great. I'm excited. I'm excited too. People have told me I need to jump in. I just haven't done it. So I will take this kick in the butt.
Push you.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that's Heather, great. I had a question for you. What you field a lot of questions. I field a lot of questions. Mark does. But what are some of the bigger or the most repetitive questions you get about Procreate? Like, what are some of the things that people most want to learn to do with Procreate?
So the top 2 things would be recipe tracing or like photograph tracing, mostly recipes. So I don't solely use Procreate for recipe tracing because the iPad has the Photos app that's built in the edit settings or the settings edits in there. You can play with them a lot to get your photo like as close as you want to like photo engraving capabilities, and then bring it into Procreate. So like that's what I show on my channel. I think might be in my course, but easily how they can just take a picture on their iPad of the recipe, edit it a little bit so that you take the saturation out, you turn it into black and white, like you kind of get all the noise out of it that you can, and then you can bring it into Procreate and use the eraser or the tracing brush and clean it up and export it. And honestly, you can export directly from Procreate for engraving. You just can't export directly from Procreate for cutting purposes because Procreate only exports in raster. I don't want to get too much into it, but you can't export directly from Procreate to your laser software. There you need to have a middle ground, whether it be a website that does vectorizing, if you vectorize it yourself by image tracing or tracing bitmap or whatever the terms are in the design software that you use. But yeah, recipe tracing. And then the other one is not Procreate related at all, but everybody thinks it is how to create single line designs in Procreate, which is not possible. But AI for iPad is out now, and Affinity Designer, I believe, any app that exports to SVG, exports to vector, you can create single line designs in there. But since, again, Procreate only exports in raster, you can't create single line designs without causing a ton of like manual editing for yourself.
I see 2 questions. There's several of them here. Christy asked for the name of your YouTube channel. I went ahead and put it in the chat. Everybody, if you need it, you can grab it there. It's also in the description of this video as well. Either place you can grab it. So please do. And go hit that subscribe button. That would be really great. Subscribe to her channel. I'd love to see a bunch of people add to her channel today. That'd be awesome.
And message me or comment, like if there's anything that you were hoping to see or would love to see a tutorial on. I'm always looking for topics to do tutorials. In my group, I do Tutorial Tuesday, that I try and find like a common thing that came up in the group that week or that has been on my list forever and bang out that way. When I get members or when I see in other groups like, hey, does anybody know this? Like I can be like, yes, like I do with your kerf video, Mark. I have a text shortcut for it. I'm like, oh, you want to know kerf? I know where you can find out about kerf.
Sharon's got a follow-up question. I'll read it and rephrase it here too. Mm-hmm. If you take the mini class with Procreate, can you build on more from there if you need it? I'll not be able to attend the in-person seminar. So I guess she's saying, hey, once I take that mini class, what's my next step?
After that, my hope is that I'm going to do something more in depth. The thing with Procreate is the basics when it comes to like image tracing and stuff. I don't want to use the word simple, but you want to keep it as simple as you can because you're tracing. So you don't want to have a ton of gradients and like feathered edges and things like that, things that don't vectorize well. So for the laser side of things, like you only really need to know like the tricks and the basics of Procreate. Like I'm strongly saying like when you're done learning the basics of Procreate, you'll be fine for if you're using it for laser designs or just want to keep on learning, because once you're comfortable with the UI in there, it's no longer overwhelming.
Oh, that's great to hear that you can get a great foundation just from a basics course and utilize that for a majority of what we do on the laser.
Definitely.
There'll be resources out there for more advanced type, courses. I'm sure as the requests come, as more people take this course and realize, hey, I want to build on this, and Heather's getting those requests on, hey, we want more more in depth, that's something that she can probably look into as well. But
yeah, those are my like things that I want to put on my channel. Like I'm not like looking to have like a ton of paid courses. I love being able to say like, here's all the basics, and then that'll get you like up and running if I ever do like advanced tutorials or things like that. Like I kind of hold back sometimes in my tutorials because there's a lot of steps. Like the one ombre design that I do, there's a ton of steps. And when you get like halfway through, like I start losing people. But like then once they're super comfortable with it, I can run them through like an advanced tutorial in like 10-15 minutes. Whereas as a beginner, they probably would just close their iPad and walk away.
I'm gonna throw another question up here. It's a little long one, but it's a great question. So in your opinion, what's the best way to go between Procreate and a program like Illustrator? I actually use Silhouette BE. I want to utilize Procreate for more of my projects, but I find myself spending a lot of time editing vector points for my drawings. I know you get a form of this question a lot, because I think that ultimately Crystal's comment here is similar. Why does my drawing have 2 lines when I trace it, right? So those are kind of similar questions. What are your thoughts on there as far as how to better utilize Procreate and the whole vector points and that kind of conversation, if that makes sense?
I love the combination of Adobe Illustrator and Procreate. Like I can edit in AI with my eyes closed at this point. I've been using it enough and I love the ease of the tools on the desktop version. The iPad version has brought in a whole new game for me though, because I didn't really dive into it until people started asking these questions. How do I create single line designs? I want to do them on my iPad. And I was always, use Affinity, because AI for iPad didn't exist what was it, last year, the year before? They just recently came out with it. And it originally didn't even have an image trace function. So it was one of those, like, I would try and teach people, and I'm like, well, you got to use the desktop version anyway, because I need you to do an image trace. So now that they have that, and that I've actually been able to play around with the iPad version, it's easier for me. Whereas if you would have told me this like 3 months ago, it's easier for me now to do node editing and things like that. Was that a Facebook user question? There wasn't a name, right? Yeah, there was.
I don't know who it was. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't forgetting a name. But things like that. So like if you're drawing in Adobe Illustrator, I mean, you use Adobe Illustrator, right, Mark?
I do.
So it's the tiny little matching up of like this anchor point needs to snap to this path, that kind of thing. So I've Jasmine Silvera Garcia, actually, because she's a scroll sawer scroll sawer. She told me about how she uses the shape builder tool, and she purposely draws over the line so that they always cross, and then she goes back in and just trims them all down. And I was like, that's freaking genius.
It is.
So like I've just been playing with that, and the more that I play with the AI for iPad app, the more I'm able to realize that like the two of them, like in like perfect combination, are excellent, especially if you already have an AI subscription, because the iPad version comes with your Creative Cloud subscription. So
that's great.
It's not even an extra cost.
Man, this is so good. I can't believe how fast time is passing. This is fantastic. Got some great questions in here. I don't know if we'll be able to get to all of them, but I want to make sure that everybody knows again how to get a hold of you before we get off here. Of course, you guys, let me say it, everybody in the chat here, you can continue asking questions during this, after this. We'll do our best to keep up with it, because I know everybody here really has the heart to help. So we're going to do everything we can. Also, if you came in late, you can watch this on demand anytime you want. So don't worry if you missed it. It's no problem. Again, up in the description of this video, there's all of Heather's contact information. So make sure you check that out. I also dropped her YouTube channel here in the chat as well. Man, I've only got like 2 minutes left. This is crazy.
I just looked. I was like, well, it's already 9:30. Look at us.
I know. But let's real quick. Let me jump over and show everybody your Etsy shop, because I want them to find that as well. And I'm going to find that tab here because I've got so many tabs open. This is fantastic. All right. So here's her YouTube channel, correct?
That is my,
I'm sorry. Or also known as
my Etsy.
Yeah, you know, lesser known Etsy.
I was trying to figure out if you were hovering over a YouTube. You see how I was looking at it.
So if you had to pick one, I know it's like picking your favorite child. But
It's
what's
that top
the
left
design here that
one.
you really love?
The dad frame is the file that started my design shop. That's my son in those pictures, and that's my handwriting. And that was my like very first like light bulb idea of and it's wasn't even really my idea. It was just kind of like I saw something in a store that like wasn't that, but I was like, oh, you know what would be cool if the photos were actually like inside the word. And then I was like, I could do that. So I made that file, and it sold. Like it was like,
for a second. You said something cool. You said that's your handwriting.
yes.
So did you do that in Procreate?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did that in Procreate, and then I exported to AI for tracing, and then it's 3 letters of MDF and a MDF base.
So this right here, everybody, if you want to see a real world example of something that isn't that difficult, you know, you're writing your own handwriting. Mm-hmm. This is completely custom because this is her handwriting, not a font, right? So this is her handwriting. This is great. So what a simple example of how you can use Procreate and make stuff. That's really cool. Well done. Anything else you want to just pick one other favorite child over everybody else?
That fishing rod one,
at the top.
Although, it was probably my least favorite project to make, but it's one of everyone's favorite tellers around. That's my hand lettering. So that right now is my inspiration for making my own font, because so many people ask me what font I used for that because they want to be able to match it, and I can never give them a font name because I hand lettered it.
Well, you can name it after yourself.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Just call it Lobo font.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Do I need to ask where Lobo came from?
Logan Robert is my son. That's his nickname. And it played well into, we did wolves, like a forest wolf theme for his room.
Yeah.
So the wolf and the logo and everything went together.
Well,
thankfully it was easy because that's a struggle for some people.
Got to make sure you see that. You deserve that.
Thank you, Natasha.
And of course, this one too.
Oh, Liz.
Yes. That's great. You got a lot of
we finally got Liz onto the Adobe Illustrator train. Yay.
Yes, that's great. Well, any last question, Will, before we let Heather go?
No, maybe just quickly, what will people expect when they come out here to Sacramento in your course?
So I am focused on not going over like the basics, but I want users to maybe be a little bit familiar with the app so that I can show the fun side of like a tutorial in Procreate, maybe possibly how to create your own brush or a seamless brush style, like something like that that I haven't yet done on my channel. I want to make sure it's something that I haven't already done in my course, I haven't done in my channel. That way it's not anything repetitive and it's something that is exclusive to our guests.
That's great.
I'm super excited to meet everybody.
I'll throw this out real quick. Maybe between now and the event, maybe we can get a to-do list from Heather, like, hey, download Procreate, do these things so that they can all kind of come at the same level. That would be cool.
For sure.
And I had somebody ask the other day, yes, bring your computer, bring your iPad, whatever device you're going to use, bring those because these classes are going to be hands-on. Okay, so
they're very hands-on. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have free downloads for brushes and like all the stuff that you'll need to be able to follow along with my tutorial. So make sure you have your equipment with you.
That's awesome. Heather, what a pleasure. Thank you for being here with us.
I had so much fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't nearly as stressful as I thought it was going to be.
It's because I didn't let Will talk. That's why.
Yeah. I had the tough questions, but I was so intrigued by what you guys were already talking about that I could just sit back and I didn't want to interrupt with the hard-hitting investigative questions.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. I know it's valuable and we really appreciate it. Everybody, make sure you connect with her. Go like everything that she has everywhere. And we appreciate it. Keep in touch with her.
Thank you so much.
Back soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Heather. Talk to you later. Now, this is where I get to figure out the technology to switch people because I don't know how. This is fun. So Will's going to talk while Mark figures out what he's doing.
Yeah, we're going to let Mark play with technology so we can switch out Heather to our next guest / presenter at the. I think it looks like we're pulling them in.
There he is.
Because I'm going to say this awkwardly in front of everybody. I don't know how to make Heather go away.
Wait, I can just leave. I'll see myself out.
I got you. You don't have to leave. I'll make you
Okay.
leave. I'm in charge. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Talk to you later.
Get out of here.
What is up, my friend Victor? This is such a pleasure, my friend. Great
Hey,
to
all.
have you. This is awesome. So for everybody who doesn't know, this is Victor Havens. He's heard me kiss up earlier because it's all true. I'm going to do it again. So you're just going to have to listen twice, man. We were talking before the show started tonight about where we might have met. And I think we ran into each other, he said, in the Glowforge community group, the forum, right?
Yeah.
Back, how many years ago do you think, maybe?
What, like
Ninth?
4 years?
4 years? So okay. Like 2018, 2019, somewhere in the neighborhood. Man, it's been a great. I have been an admirer from afar. Your work is fantastic. And, on top of all that, you're just classy, man. I've always appreciated every time we've interacted. It's been great. So having you here on the show is awesome, but having you as part of the team in Sacramento is just off the hook. It's fantastic. So we're super excited. So just you can also, everybody, if you don't know Victor, you can check out his Etsy. It's in the description above. And at some point during this conversation, I will throw it in the chat as well, so you can find him. He's just got some great stuff. So, Will, what kind of crazy, hard-hitting fastball do you have for Victor ready?
Oh, God.
Al, I don't know. I'm almost fanboying over here in a lot of ways. Like, I've interacted with Victor in the groups for a few years now. We chat pretty regularly. Just an amazing person, amazing designer, someone I've looked up to. What he's anytime I've done anything to try to give back to the community, he's the first one to message me saying, "Hey, I got something to contribute," which is always humbling. I look at his designs and I say, well, I'll never make that, but they're absolutely amazing.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, they're great. I don't make any designs really. In a lot of ways, I don't do a ton on my laser as much as I would like to. But
but we'll all take your money if you want to buy our files. It's okay.
Yeah, I still buy the files. I have a lot of files that just sit. Eventually one day my wife will get to do it. Oh yeah, there's MJ. I knew she would be. She was calling me earlier saying, "Oh, Victor's on. I'm going to be on." But so. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. We love having you a part of it. I don't have any tough questions right now. I just want to talk. I just want to kind of hear more about your story, how you got started with the lasers, and how you got to where you are now, because you've been a part of the community now for years. So.
Yeah, you told us right before the show started that you mentioned that you had a CNC before you got a laser. Kind of jump in your story there somewhere and walk to getting a laser.
It kind of goes a little before that. Okay. Kind of like what Heather was saying. I have two design art degrees, one in graphic design and one in multimedia. Okay. I have been working with Illustrator since '88. So I was when you had to put 15 discs in to load the program. So I basically started working with Vector then. Ended up going to school for it after I'd been working in the business for probably about 10 years. And once I got out of school, I was working in graphic design, and then I ended up working for a furniture company. They design and build furniture. I was their marketing guy, but then I quickly realized that I already know how to use CAD, so I started designing all the furniture.
Oh, cool.
That kind of led me into, then I bought all the equipment and started building my own furniture. So from CAD and all of this stuff became very simple when it came over to laser. It's the same stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized Illustrator is the perfect thing to use. So that's kind of basically how I got started.
And then when did the Glowforge come into the picture? How did that happen?
I think it was 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
I had looked at it when it was kickstarted.
Yep.
And I at that time, I didn't have the ability to get it. Yep. So I moved to California 2015. And then I kept watching it, and it was still not shipping.
Nope.
So then once it started shipping, and then I realized that it was going to be something that they could ship. Then I actually saved up the money and I bought my first machine.
Yeah, that's great. What did you get? Which model did you get?
I got the Plus.
Yep.
But it's the 45 watt Plus.
Yeah, right. The earlier ones. Yep. Yep. So Victor knows I was one of the original backers back in 2015. And I've said this before, but October 2015, they said, hey, if you pre-buy, it's coming out in December of 2015. Well, December was right. It was just December of 2017 that it finally came out. So I don't regret it. Looking back, it was a long wait. But boy, that really launched this whole season of my life in doing these. Like you, I did other creative things prior to this.
Right.
But this has been really fun. And to be really honest, as sappy as it sounds, I get to meet people like you and Will and so many other people that I really appreciate and value so much beyond the technology. It's just been a lot of fun. So it's been really cool.
And that's one of the things I really, truly loved about the Glowforge community. Yep. Everybody is there to help.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter, how much or how little If you have knowledge, they're willing to give it. So
absolutely.
And totally agree. That's the way I feel.
Yep. And you're right. Absolutely. So we didn't say this directly. I should have. I got a little fangirl about talking to Victor, so I got distracted. But he's going to be teaching about Adobe Illustrator at the conference. So this is going to be great. If you didn't pick it up, he has plenty of experience. He has plenty of information to draw from to teach. And we are still, just so everybody knows, we are still dialing in exactly what we want to teach with everybody. But I will say this, and you can go ahead and jump off of this, Victor, if you want to. Mm-hmm. If you're a beginner in Illustrator, that is totally fine. Absolutely. He's going to help us absolutely make some fun stuff and just get you rolling with Illustrator. Do you have a thing or two that you have in mind that you might want to touch on?
Well, the funny part is in Illustrator, I will let everybody know I use 5 tools to create anything that I create. Those 5 tools, you can make anything. But I know there's a lot of questions around how to do stuff and how to make it simpler. So one of the things I'm going to talk about is how to actually resize a piece from, let's say, a quarter and you want to make it an eighth, or resize up. It's not hard. It is a little time consuming, but this makes it a lot quicker and a lot more exact.
That's great. Boy, that right there is enough for the price of admission right there.
That's a number one question I get from people.
And now I'm going to make sure that I'm not teaching a class while Victor is, so I can be in there. That's where, yeah. So Will, if you're working on the schedule, do not put me at the same time as him.
I will tell you this much. It's actually only 2 buttons.
Oh, that's great. And I love to hear, I'm excited about hearing the 5 tools.
2 buttons and it kind of moving.
It's like saying you play golf, but you only use 3 clubs. Or something like that. So
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Honestly, I don't, there are other things that you can use in Illustrator to make things do what you want them to do. But the basics of everything you do in Illustrator, I mean, let's be honest. The basics of any construction comes down to 3 different pieces. It's either a square, a circle, or a straight line. That's it.
Wow.
Everything you can do in Illustrator comes from those 3 things.
That's great. Well, Will, I'll let you pitch him another hard to hit ball here while I tee up his Etsy, because I want to walk through that a little bit. Just look at some things. So go ahead.
I know you're in San Diego, beautiful San Diego, and I'm here in Northern California.
70 degrees.
Yeah, I missed that. I'm at 88 and pretty warm. I know the big debate that we hear here in San Francisco Bay Area and San Diego is which city has the better Mexican food?
Oh my God. We are literally 10 minutes from Mexico. We do.
I don't. I something about French fries in a burrito in San Diego just don't fly for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Southern California thing.
There's actually a place 2 blocks from my house that all of the Mexicans eat there. So that's where I go.
Excellent. Man, it's making me hungry already. Well, on that note, let's jump over to your Etsy. And I just like to, like I did with everybody, we're just going to scroll through it for a second, but I'd really like to know, what's your favorite item or two on your Etsy shop? What's something either you're proud of or that you'd like people to see?
I don't know. Honestly, they're all interesting to me. Okay, actually, my favorite thing is go back up.
Yep.
Is the knitting machine.
Okay, where am I at here?
It's right here. You can't see it. It's with the yarn.
Right here.
To the sled.
The orange and the yellow,
Oh, I keep forgetting I can't click on things because it opens in another window. That's fantastic. So tell us about that a little bit.
So, I mean, I have this ability that if I see something, I can either recreate it or I can do it. I just have to see somebody. If it's something manual, I just have to see them do it, and I can then recreate it. So I thought about people with dexterity issues that can't knit because you need to hold 2 needles at the same time. So I worked on this probably for about a month and came up with the idea of utilizing discs that you just wrap the yarn around and then you can actually knit.
Wow.
So it kind of came together pretty quickly, actually.
That is amazing. That really is. And there's so many times when I look at designs, including yours, and I look at it and I go, okay, I understand what's happening there. Like I can see how it's going together, but the idea of starting from nothing is what sometimes overwhelms me a little bit, when I come to design. And I know we've all got our niches and the things we're good at, but you really, I can tell you have a great mental picture, I think, if that's the right word. You can see it.
No, and that's the whole thing too. And that's one of the things I'm going to discuss in the class as well. It's kind of like, let's say you hold up a cereal box.
Yeah.
There are only 3 sides to that box that you have to create and just double them because it's only 3 sides. So you only have to create 3 of something and just multiply it twice. That creates a box.
Wow.
For a 6-sided box that's squared, it's just 1. So
that's great.
You just got to think about things differently. Not necessarily. I always start from the end and work my way back.
Yeah.
So I start out how I want it to look and then work my way back and take it apart piece by piece.
That's simple but brilliant. And I really can connect with that because for me, I've been a public speaker for a long time, and I do that with speaking is where do I want to land and then just do the speech backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Because on the other hand, if I do it the other way, I never know where I'm landing. Like I jump off the cliff when I start to speak and then go, oh crap, find a landing. So it's much better to do that backwards. That's a great tip. That is really cool. All right, pick one more. I got to change here real quick. Pick one more that you want to show us just for fun. Of course, I got to get it back up here again.
I guess it's the Ferris wheel. I think everybody knows that.
Everybody knows the Ferris wheel. That's great. Let me find that. All right. And I don't remember where that is.
It's further down.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to have to change one more time. Give me one more second. But talk about this as I get it ready. Where did this idea come from? How did the process look like for you? That kind of thing?
It's kind of hilarious because I didn't actually start out thinking I was going to create a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
But I wanted to create an advent calendar, but I wanted it to be different. So I kind of came up with the idea. I had seen a picture of, not a picture, but a documentary on Eiffel, and kind of got into that whole steel girder kind of look thing. And I decided I wanted to kind of create something that looked like turn of the century, turn of the last century,
right.
Kind of ironwork and things like that. So yeah, it kind of, this one took me probably the longest. I think this one took me 3 months to complete. Wow. I didn't work on it every day. I kind of worked on it and set it aside and came back to it. And, but yeah, and I made it so that on the Glowforge bed, 20 by 12, you can make this.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it takes like 900 boards, but as Will says.
Yes, just a few boards.
And I will say, as a designer, I'm looking at it, and even though it's complex, there's a lot of repetition, which is great, right?
Yeah, because you're cutting basically the wheels themselves are just 6 of the same piece of pie, so 12.
Yeah, I love that. That's
I
really
love how
cool.
you can simplify it, right? Because when the untrained eye or someone like myself looks at that, I'm like, it looks daunting, right?
Yeah.
And when you say, hey, 5 tools, it's very repetitive. That the knowledge that you've learned over the years on how to simplify things for people is going to be what's very valuable to so many. We don't have to overthink it. I think we tend to overthink a lot of it. Like, oh, I would have to design every single spot, every single wheel, where you're saying, you get one down and you just repeat that, right? And like looking at a box, that's one of the biggest questions we see in the groups.
Yeah.
I need to make a box, and I want to learn how to make a box. And I remember I took one of your, when you were doing the Zoom classes, and I took a Zoom class where you were just showing the
basic box,
the sliding lid box, and I'm just following along. I'm like, this doesn't seem as hard as when you're just looking at it thinking, well, creating tabs, or how do I create the sliding lid? It's simplified, and you explain it really well, where the average person can say, we all had that just on the Zoom, just having those aha moments, right? It's like eye-opening, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. We didn't have to reinvent everything. So I think that's going to be beneficial. And I think when we were looking at who we wanted to be a part of this event, on who could share that knowledge, not just somebody who has the knowledge, but somebody who knows how to share it and make it relatable to somebody who's just learning, was why you were on our list and at the top of our list, because I have experienced it, and watching those has taught me so much just in the 1 hour class.
So, I appreciate that. Definitely.
Absolutely, man. Here's some questions. Let's grab some from over here. Of course, there's a whole lot of, wow, that's amazing. So yes, we'll just all agree with that.
Thank you.
Shannon says she loves the knitting box. She used to crochet and knit all the time, but arthritis took it away from me. But that's a really cool thing, isn't it?
And the best part is about the knitting is that you use a crochet hook, and it isn't difficult. There is a video on my YouTube channel that shows you how to use it.
Okay, that's excellent.
It's the same name, Excited Atom Design.
Excellent. And let me see. Let me see here. This is probably a true one. Is I need instructions on how to use it after I made it on my Glowforge. I think she's referring to the knitting, I believe. And there I did a video. I did a couple videos to explain how to use it, and it goes really fast. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I see a lot of your files too, as intricate and as detailed as it is. You spend a lot of time giving very clear instructions, assembly, where you make it relatable to us, because when you look at it, you're like, okay, I can cut it. Now what? And I remember seeing you sharing your process on how much you put together to help the people put it together, so that it's step by step. You see everything that's happening. So that's a big thing when it comes to us trying some of these more difficult files at times, is having clear instructions, and I think you do a great job at having those for us as well. So
I do go a little crazy.
Be afraid to tackle these projects.
Yeah, and the funny part is Illustrator has some amazing tools, and one of those is 3D rendering. So you can take a vector image and turn it into a 3D image and give it the exact depth and the exact width that you want. So I just take whatever I drew, turn it into a 3-dimensional object and flip it up 45, and then that's how all of my instructions are made.
Okay, I'm just shaking my head because I know that's true. Of course, I've up until really recently, I've had some, let's just say, some underpowered machines. So occasionally, when I hit that 3D thing, it goes.
The best part is you. Here's a little tip for everybody: if you want to do 3D in Illustrator, do not give it a shading. Give it white with a line, and it doesn't have to render the shading.
Okay. That's good. And I've got a pretty decent one now, so I'm in good shape, but it's been several years. I ran my graphic design for several years with Mac Mini for a long time. So, yeah, absolutely. Sharon asked a question here that I'm sure is a loaded one, but how long does it take to assemble the Ferris wheel?
I think it took me, I want to say 35 minutes total.
Yeah. Oh. Not bad. And of course, here's a great compliment from another great designer, Daryl. We love Daryl, man. How intricate and cool that Ferris wheel is. Great job. Totally agree. And boy, that's high praise from somebody I think is an amazing designer as well. He's
exactly.
Man, this is awesome. Well, we are so excited to have you with us. I hope that we can do this again before August. But if you guys have not already, check out our website. In fact, I'll throw it on the screen if you're not familiar with the conference, the nextlevellaserconference.com. You can also join our event group so you can talk about what's going to be happening there. We might as well just keep Victor on here while we give away a ticket. What do you think?
Awesome.
Yeah, let's do it. You ready, Will?
I am ready.
Absolutely. So we're going to, again, test the technology here one more time for me. I'm going to have to let you share that. Why don't you go ahead and share that for me? And then there it is. I see it. So Will, tell everybody what we're going to be doing here, and then we'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah. So is it on the screen? Can you see it?
Yep. It's there now.
All right. Perfect. So what we're going to do is every Monday, after we've interviewed and had conversations with the people who are presenting, we are going to draw one name of people who have already purchased a ticket to the conference, and we will refund you that ticket price. So you will get your ticket for free. Yep. So get your tickets early so that you're entered into the drawing every Monday, because as it grows, we're going to have more and more names. So right now we have, the amount we have here, we'll draw a name. That name will be taken out. And next week, we'll add all the people who have purchased during the week. And we'll do this every week up until the event. So
what do we have? I think we have, is it 12 weeks or 11? I kind of lost track a little bit, but.
Yeah, I think we're at 10 weeks.
10 weeks out. So we're going to do this every week for the next 10 weeks. So the sooner that you get your ticket, you'll get in this drawing every week until you win. Hopefully, right?
Or until the event comes.
Sorry, I should have said that different. Lawyers, figure that out for me. Thanks. But that's what we're going to do. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and spin the wheel.
All right, here we go. If it will work. There we go. And our lucky winner is Robert Borman.
Robert Borman, congratulations, Robert. If you could message you can message either one of us. It doesn't matter, me or Will, and we will get you taken care of. So congratulations, Robert. That's fantastic. So guys, thank you so much for being here with us. We've had a great time. I hope you enjoyed getting to meet some of our instructors, and make sure that you follow them and check up on them on Etsy and wherever else they are. It'll be fantastic. One last question and we'll get out of here. Marie, you asked, is there any way you can rewatch this? Absolutely. It's going to be available 24/7, so you can watch it anytime you want. And also, if you guys leave any questions after we go off live, we'll still do our best to answer those as best we can. All right.
Yep.
Christy, your husband won. That was your husband. That's fantastic.
Really if your husband's not on, you can just say you won, and that his ticket still has to be paid for. So
we will back you up. Right.
Congratulations, Christy. You won.
Any last words before we go, Will?
No, thank you all for being here. Thank you for taking the time to hear Heather and Victor, two amazing people with a wealth of knowledge that's going to share all of that with you here at this conference. So we'd love to meet all of you. It's just going to be an amazing event. So, get those tickets, book those flights if you have to, drive, whatever you have to do, just get here and we'll have a blast. I promise you.
That's right. Everybody, thank you so much. We had a great time. Victor, hang around. We'll say bye to you offline here.
Okay.
Everybody else, have a great night. We'll talk to you later.